Hey everyone, and welcome! Today we're jumping into one of the most powerful, most mind-bending conversations in all of ancient literature. It's a moment from the Bhagavad Gita where the very nature of the divine gets revealed, and it answers a question that, let's be honest, we've all probably asked ourselves at some point.
Right? How can we possibly see something that's infinite and cosmic in the world around us, in our jobs, our families, just our day-to-day lives? It's a universal search for meaning. And in this particular chapter of the Gita, the warrior Arjuna asks this exact question. And the answer he gets is, well, it's pretty incredible. So let's get into it. So this whole conversation has a name. It's called Vibhuti Yoga, which translates to the yoga of divine glories. And you can think of it as the point in the story where the divine, speaking through Krishna, kind of stops talking in riddles and metaphors and just lays it all out, explaining its own nature directly. It is a moment of pure, unfiltered revelation.
And this revelation kicks off with a claim that is so huge, it's designed to completely shatter our whole understanding of where everything, and I mean everything, comes from.
Just pause and think about the sheer scale of that for a second. Krishna is basically saying that even the absolute highest beings you can possibly imagine, gods, the wisest sages who ever lived, even they can't fully grasp their own origin story because he comes before all of them. He is quite literally the source of the source.
And this is what's so wild. It really shows you the scope of what he means by source. It's not just the nice, pretty, good stuff. Nope. Krishna is taking credit for the entire spectrum of existence. Sure, intelligence and forgiveness, but also distress, infamy, fear, and even death itself. It all comes from the same place. It's all woven from the same single divine fabric.
So you might be sitting there thinking, okay, that's a cool cosmic idea, but so what? If the divine is that huge and unknowable, what does that mean for me, a regular person? Well, that's the next part. Krishna lays out a very, very clear path.
It's almost like a formula, a direct cause and effect. It all starts with that first step, understanding, really knowing the divine as this beginningless, supreme source. According to the text, that understanding alone frees you from delusion. And from there, it leads to this deep, unwavering devotion. And the payoff, the ultimate reward for that devotion, it's clarity. It's a kind of divine intellect, a gift straight from the source.
And just listen to the language here. This isn't some cold, distant transaction. He says it's an act of compassion. The divine doesn't just, hand you a flashlight. It says, I dwell within your own heart. And from there, personally lights the lamp of knowledge. It's an incredibly intimate and personal promise.
Okay, so let's get back to Arjuna, because after hearing all of this, you can just imagine he has this profound moment of truth. He's totally overwhelmed, and his response is a real turning point for the entire Gita.
This is it, the click, the moment of total unconditional acceptance. Arjuna, who really stands in for the questioning soul in all of us, declares that Krishna is the supreme Brahman, the ultimate reality, and he just says, I accept it. I accept everything you've told me as the absolute truth. He's convinced. The student is finally ready.
And what's really interesting is that he doesn't just rely on his own feeling here. To bolster his faith, he points out that this incredible revelation has actually been confirmed by all the great sages he looks up to, people like Narada and Vyasa. He's connecting his own personal aha moment to the established wisdom of the ages.
And this is where it all leads. This brings us to the climax of the whole conversation. Now that Arjuna believes, now that he accepts this cosmic truth, he asks the one question that every single seeker of truth eventually gets to.
You hear that? This is the pivot from the abstract to the concrete. He's basically saying, okay, I'm on board. I believe you are everything. But how do I actually see you? How do I turn this massive cosmic idea into something I can connect with in my daily life? Where should I be looking?
And Krishna's answer is what this entire chapter has been building towards. It's a promise to bridge that gap, to connect the absolutely infinite to the incredibly intimate.
So first, Krishna kind of sets the stage. He agrees to answer Arjuna, but he gives a little disclaimer. He says, look, my glories are endless, a complete list would literally be infinite, so I can only share the most important ones, just the highlights. And then he delivers the knockout punch, the core answer. After all that buildup, all the cosmic declarations, the number one most fundamental manifestation of the divine isn't in some far-off heaven or a majestic temple. It's the self.
that core of consciousness seated right inside the heart of every single living being.
And to really make sure the point lands, he reinforces it, saying he isn't just a part of existence. He is the whole shebang, the beginning, the middle, and the end. The entire journey of every being is just another expression of this one all-pervading self.
And this brings us right back to our final thought for today. Because this isn't just some ancient philosophy, is it? It's a profound challenge to how we see everything. If the ultimate divine reality is that spark of consciousness inside you, inside me, inside every living thing, well, what does that change? How does that reframe your relationship with yourself, and maybe even more importantly, with everyone and everything else? That's the powerful question Vibhuti Yoga leaves us to answer.